is plenty of history here in West Texas, with Fort Davis a key part of it. And now the city's old jail has a new look. News West 9's Kirby Warnock explains.
Saturday morning, a crowd of well-wishers gathered at the old Jeff Davis County Jail to applaud a ribbon cutting commemorating the soft opening of a new museum. Located just across the street from the Jeff Davis County Courthouse, the old Sheriff's Museum and Research Center is housed in the former Jeff Davis County Jail. Built in 1910, the old jail contained 4 cells and held prisoners there until 1978, when it was vacated for a newer facility. But back in its heyday, the jail housed outlaws captured by Old West sheriffs in Jeff Davis, Brewster, and Presidio County, as well as serving as the office for some interesting law enforcement figures from the frontier days, like Jessie Louise Sproul, who was appointed as the sheriff after her husband, Franklin Lee Sproul, was killed in the line of duty in 1933. She served out the rest of his term, then became the first elected female sheriff in Texas. Jeff Davis County Judge Curtis Evans was on hand to explain how this museum came to be.
A couple of years ago, Ben Medley came to me. His dad used to be the sheriff here in Jeff Davis County. And throughout our area, we have a lot of history of sheriffs coming in and the protection that they gave us and the big part that they played in keeping this area wild but safe. So Ben came to me and asked me about what I thought about a museum for honoring our law enforcement of this area. And I said, it's a perfect place. And I got an old jail in this county that is not being used. And so we took a look at it. And this is a great use for this jail.
Former Brewster County Sheriff Carl C. Williams traveled to the opening today.
Well, quite frankly, this particular area here, Sheriff Medley was one of my very dear friends, and he and I spent some time drinking coffee around this place, and we got along really good, and it means a lot to me to have this here commemorating or remembering some of the officers and some that worked in this area.
Numerous wall panels in the old jail give short bios about each sheriff, and there are several artifacts on display within the jail cells, such as handcuffs, badges, and guns. The wall panels were designed by Fort Davis resident Heather Francel.
Want to acknowledge the history all the way around. Our more modern guys can have got a lot more information. We've got a lot more deputies. We've got a lot more people who are doing a lot of good work in the area, and we want to keep striving for that. So it's both the history and the storytelling.
Today's ribbon cutting was a soft opening, while the grand opening will be set for July 4th. Ben Medley, the son of past Jeff Davis County Sheriff Wilbur Medley, was one of the moving forces behind this museum.
Well, it's something that it's been on my mind for a long time because of my dad being a longtime sheriff here. I was raised with law enforcement. There was somebody at the house all the time drinking coffee or eating a bean or whatever, and so I'm pretty partial to law enforcement. So I wanted to do this, and then when I mentioned it to Carl Williams, my good friend and my dad's good friend, Sheriff of Brewster County, he just jumped all over it and said, yeah.
Although many of us grew up watching Roy Rogers and other cowboy stars portraying Old West sheriffs, the reality may have been a bit different than the movie.
Oh, Lordy, back then we could enforce the law and we could help people. And now it's very difficult to enforce the law without worrying about being sued or something else. And you can't help people because you'll get sued again for the same thing. And it has changed so dramatically from being a part of the community to being kind of on the offensive. It's been a very, very dramatic change from the time I started to now.
No matter the era, the lawmen of Jeff Davis, Brewster, and Presidio counties are on the job serving justice and the citizens of Texas. In Fort Davis, Kirby Warnock, News West 9.